Hey yo, my Endless Maws. This is Mansant back at you with a quick video right before Nationals. Just wanted to catch up with y'all because I've really been enjoying the channel's growth. Big shout out to all of you. I never even ask for subscriptions or likes, but we're over 300 now, so really big shout out to all you guys. Really enjoying making this stuff, so if you're continuing to like it, then yeah, I guess this will be my first time asking. Please like, please subscribe, because it's helped get my videos out there, and has helped me meet a lot of really cool people in the community. So yeah, thank you so much. I will also be at Nationals this weekend, so if anyone's going to be there, I'll be the curly-headed kid playing Levia in some Leviathan sleeves, so come say hi. It was really cool to meet some of you at Dallas. Yeah, so this topic today is going to be to quickly tell you how Hexagores have been doing in extensive testing that I've been putting into games for Nationals. And that's to say, I'm glad I waited to make this video now, because I have a deep appreciation for this weapon now. I really thought it was a meme at first. It was part of like Levia's just terrible Majestic package, but I was wrong. Hexagore really has good value to provide for Levia. And while I don't think you can play a pure Hexagore build with Levia, I just don't think that, unfortunately, you have a good enough aggro matchup to really pull that off. It does work in tandem with Claws as a sideboard plan into some of your really grindy matchups, like Oldhim and Bravo in particular. It can also work against Prism pretty well, because, fun fact, when you swing Hexagore at a aura, because of the Spectre keyword, you will not take damage with Hexagore's ability. So early game, you can block out and then just swing Hexagore, pop auras, and just set up for the long game, and it actually works really well. So while I can't quite say whether I've settled on the Hexagore sideboard plan for Nationals, I just wanted to give you some quick thoughts as to why it's been so good. So right off the bat, one of the perks to Hexagore is that you will pretty much never whiff your Art of War turns. And that's because with Art of War, you always have that chance of, you banish, you say go again, and then what's your go again? You hopefully drew into something or had something in arsenal or something in hand still. But a lot of the times it unfortunately does equate to just a claw swing, which doesn't feel great. Well, with Hexagore, your follow-up swing is pretty much always the 6 damage that this weapon's giving you. So that just feels amazing. It makes Art of War a much bigger power card for Levia. The other thing that's really good about Hexagore is that if we look at what Levia can normally do off of a, let's see, off of a hand like this. Okay, so a normal 4-card hand, or 3 if one of these is an arsenal with like a Howl and Banish, something like this, for Claws Levia, looks like pitching a blue to play Howl, 1 floating, pitching a blue, play Dread Screamer, and then play a 2-cost. But that is a full 4-card hand for 15 damage, right? Which is a lot of damage. It's a lot of pressure. It's what Levia likes to do. But with Hexagore, you can do that same play for -1 card. You don't need this 2-cost anymore. So now we're looking at effectively a 3-card hand, right? The 2 blues, the Dread Screamer, the Howl is going to be banished, to swing the same 15 damage. That is a ton of threat, considering you're doing 15 damage off of 3 cards alone, and you're spamming Dread Screamers in your deck. I did find that you really want the maximum count of Dread Screamers, the full rainbow, in a Hexagore build just to pull off this play more often. But it really happens quite a bit, especially with the Howl loop, that you just present like 15 damage turn after turn from only 3 cards, which is like unheard of, right? A normal card is around like 3 to 4 damage of value, but now we are looking at 3 cards equating 15. That's about 5 damage per card, right? Which is just incredible, and it abuses a lot of what Levia really wants to do anyway, which is get good value with the Howl from Beyond, and then go as wide and as hard as possible with her Dread Screamers. So Hexagore makes that kind of play much, much, much better. And in those matchups that you're running Hexagore, like Bravo, like Prism, like Oldhim, what that allows you to do is actually, off 4-card hands, just arsenal one of them, and 3 cards still swing 15, and that will set up this amazing tempo play where you're pretty much never missing big threats of damage that break the turtle per se, break that beautiful 12 damage a turn mark. that those slow decks want to block you out for. Really, it's just been fantastic at doing that. Of course, if you don't have the Howl and Dread Screamer set up, Hexagore isn't quite as good. You're relying on either Scabskins to swing it, which I wouldn't recommend, or just kind of waiting with Hexagore and swinging with what Levia normally does. But the goal is, in those longer matchups, every time you see a Dread Screamer, make sure it's a Hexagore turn. And that kind of recurring value over the course of the game is really going to beat Bravo and Oldhim, because what they want to do, right, is fully block you out, and try to get you to die to Blood Debt, where mid-game, this is Bravo in particular, is going to crippling crush pummel mid-game, try to get you to just waste your hand, not be able to turn off Blood Debt, and you will just kind of lose from there. With Mandible Claws, that's something you're super susceptible to. But with Hexagore, even on those horrible turns when they can pull it off mid-game, you can at least still pitch a card to swing in for 6, which feels very, very strong. You will take your Blood Debt anyway, but just knowing that you've at least still put pressure on them matters a lot. So Hexagore, absolute standout card in that matchup. Then I do want to talk about some of the downsides, though. And the downsides really being that you lose out on Blood Rush Bellows value. Blood Rush Bellows is another turtle cracking part of the deck. However, it's much more explosive, right? That's why you combo it with Claws and why you want to run this in versus aggro matchups. Because when you Blood Rush and you're able to just present minimum 18 or probably more damage than that on a turn versus those turtle decks, that's one of the reasons that they've been blocking out the whole game, is because they know you have Blood Rush. They're trying to wait out those Blood Rush turns, so that's the only damage they really take realistically in the game, and they will just win in the long game from there, because they're going to try to just completely block you out until you whiff Blood Debt. So it's not a guarantee that the Claws Blood Rush will win you the game in those Bravo matchups, which is really why I moved over to Hexagore. But Hexagore just doesn't get great value out of this card. I would still say you run it, because if you can combo this with a Dread Screamer into Hexagore, that's 4 more damage you're presenting. But it's really not amazing, because you're missing out on just the natural go-again that these gain. So that's really the big downside. But then again, that's why you don't run Hexagore alone. You slide it in with the Mandible Claws build. And the real trick there is that you don't have to commit too much of your sideboard to running Hexagore. What I found was that to run Hexagore, you really just need a little bit of extra go again. So I was trying Shadow Puppetries, lead the charges, and decided that something like 1 Shadow Puppetry to lead the charge felt very good, because Shadow Puppetry, I'm not too hot on this card anymore, but in the Hexagore build, you just need that little extra oomph of go again, and this can allow you to, off of 1 blue, Shadow Puppetry and Boneyard Marauder, swing for 13, right? Because this will give +1, Boneyard Marauder comes in, and then you swing Hexagore all off that 1 blue. So just having the 1 in your deck feels pretty good, because you know that that's a possibility, but you don't have that many Boneyard Marauders, so I didn't want to up the Shadow Puppetry count too much. But then Lead the Charge gets better, because it is decent against Prism as well, giving you just a straight action point. It is a blue, so you can pitch this to see it late game when you're through with your Dread Screamers. This can kind of enable the same thing, and almost is like a nail in the coffin in extremely late game, when you just do something against one of these control decks that's really just blocking out, giving you full hands, and you can just lead the charge, Endless Maw, with some who knows what, Howl from Beyond on top, into Hexagore, and just not have to worry about Scabskins, because they're going to be passing you full hands anyway. It's pretty good. So yeah, that's just the quick thoughts on Hexagore. I know it was a little rambling, but I didn't have too much prep for this video, since I'm very busy getting ready for Nationals. But really just wanted to share with my Levia crew that Hexagore really is not that bad. It's not amazing. You can't run it as a sole weapon. I'm still a firm believer in that. But it has its uses. And would you know it, they actually help some of the matchups that you need them to. So very hot on this card. I recommend you all to try it. And yeah, with that, this has been Man Sant once again. And hopefully you guys will catch me on stream at Nationals, or something along those lines. Anyway, have a good one.